Chael, you out of anyone would kind of know what Jon's going through right now. Did you feel he was sincere in that press conference? No, you're good, man.
Good. Right.
You're good,
Keep
brother.
moving around this table.
You're good, man.
You're looking good.
Okay, so here's the
like,
thing.
did you? Because a lot of times Jon's criticism came from not just being himself. Right. And you see it's an act usually, right. And then you see that press conference. I bought it at times and I didn't at others.
Sure. So the press conference was very interesting. He called that. He wasn't under subpoena to be there. The way this would normally work when you're in trouble is you bury your head in the sand, you try to outrun this thing, you get with your legal team, you get your version of the story you're prepared to tell, you get sworn in, you say your piece, and you go home. That's how it usually works. He shows up at a press conference that he didn't have to be at, and he took questions. Now, he broke every PR rule you had, but you had to stand back and go, well, that took a certain amount of courage. He walked through the lobby. He walked through the hotel with fighters yelling at him. He sat down in front of the media. He didn't have a prepared statement and exit stage left. He just sat down and took questions. That's not what a guilty guy does. Now, he is guilty, but the question is he guilty on intent? And that's all we all really care about. Was Jon trying to get over? Or did Jon take something that just happened to be on the ban list? Make your own decision there. But the one thing with Jon, guys, is it is never his fault. And he's always sitting down and he's saying the same routine over and over. I don't know why this is God's will. I don't know why he's put me in this spot. I'll come out stronger. And then he wants you to embrace him and go, man, hey, hang in there, kid.
God has a plan.
You weren't a hit and run. You did the hitting and you did the running. You get jammed up.
And you did the coming back to get your money. Yeah. And then you did the running again.
But then he gave that then too. I don't know why God, I don't know why this is the plan, but I'm going to have to deal with the chips I've been dealt me. Like he found out that he's got leukemia or something. That he's the victim here. He gets jammed up in a coke bust. He doesn't say a guy, slipped me something. He says, I'm at a party in Brazil. I rolled up 100. I went down to the table. But then he became the victim. And then now we're sitting in this spot, not only two banned substances. And the problem with Jon is historically he has piled on guys. The second their name comes out in one of these things, he's piling on.
Is that true?
You need to change your life, find God, this whole routine, everything that a guy covering up tries to say. Now, what's interesting is I'm one of the guys he piled on. I'm not ready to pile on him. I'm looking at it going, well, there is some confusing stuff in the test. You're guilty. You need to man up. You need to say, I agree with the science, I agree with the rules, and I'm going to sit.
Yeah.
Not go up there and make this big show. But Jon is always piled. He's the first one. He doesn't listen to extenuating circumstances. He couldn't spell the words extenuating circumstances. And he buries guys. But guys aren't doing that back to him. They go, well, Jon, let's hear your side of it.
Well, his side of it, though, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and you were talking about this. He was popped for estrogen blockers. Isn't that pretty damning? I mean, this is not like a weird, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know anything about it. But my guess is when you take a testosterone, whatever my derivative, whatever it might be.
Artificial testosterone,
you have to take estrogen blockers. Isn't that pretty damning? I don't know.
That is why that's on the ban list. An estrogen blocker, it's blocking something, it's not adding. But USADA says, look, if you're coming off a cycle, you got to go on these blockers. I used to have to take estrogen blockers when I was doing testosterone. They said, listen, it's a way for us to catch you after the fact. Maybe you pulled the testosterone or whatever, the deck, or whatever you were pulling. Maybe you pulled that over on us, but we can get you after the fact on this. That's their argument. That's not to say there's not other things and reasons you would have estrogen blockers. Jon is a very horny guy, and if you take dick pills of various forms, they could have estrogen blockers in them. I assure you, whatever the reason, he's been Googling it and will come up with his story at the appropriate time. But that's probably the path he'll go down. At the end of the day, sure, it's cheating. Jon's sitting up there going, well, I didn't cheat. Well, cheating is a wide spectrum. And for me, it comes to intent, but that's not what the definition is. If you took a banned substance, and you tried to fight with it, you cheated.
Yeah.
So you think it's a possibility, and I see the rumors circulating like crazy out there, is he was taking like a fake kind of like 5-hour energy erection drink. And there's estrogen blockers in there. There's also testosterone in there.
So that's illegal.
That's the rumor, yeah.
Right.
But they are illegal.
So let me just.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So let's say, would you look at, let's say in a perfect world for Jon's world, he's suspended either way. Yeah. So he's screwed, and we'll get back to that. But in a perfect world, Jon goes, listen, man. Granted, he's married with kids. That's a whole nother thing. But he goes, listen, man, I was taking these basically horny drinks, shots, and they have testosterone and estrogen blockers. I had no idea. Yeah. I had a wild night. They tested me. What's up?
So here's what I would say. I would say, John, since when we went through the numbers, let's just low end say, if you get caught, we already know that there are people like Yoel Romero who got popped and stopped for taking certain
tainted supplement.
Right.
His was a little different.
And we know that USADA is
right.
very sensitive with their equipment, and we know that they have a long list that goes on and on that you can't take. You can't even take Advil. Having said that, you're about to fight this huge fight, and in the next 2 years, you stand to make probably $10 million. $10 million. Maybe even after taxes.
Way more
I don't
than
know.
that, yeah.
Okay. But let's just start with 10, which seems like a lot of money. Okay. So, John, why are you drinking these strange energy drinks?
No, I'm saying he didn't know though, B. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So how's the public going to look at him if he came out and was like, all right, here's the thing. I drank these freaking sex drinks and I had a wild night. I didn't do any drugs. I had no idea what was in them. I'm spending 2 years. That's probably best case scenario.
That's right. That's right. And he'll sit down at Google. He'll figure out where these things come from. That's how he'll do it. And he'll come up with his story. We'll never know what really happened there. At the end of the day, we don't need to. He's got 2 banned substances.
Gun to your head, Chael. Gun to your head, Brendan. As fighters, this guy's been in this. Gun to your head. And not to throw it down the bridge. I got a gun to your head. Did he take steroids or did he not take steroids?
Banned substances. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, banned
100%.
substances.
And this is the thing, though, Chael. Do you think it taints, it tarnishes his legacy for pound for pound greats?
Say.
Because the public, we're balls deep in mixed martial arts, and you had an amazing career. We analyzed all these fights. We know the game inside out. My dad called me and was like, damn, I can't believe John's been using steroids this whole time. Makes sense, though. That's the public.
Yeah, it is.
The public in general is going, oh, yeah, he's been using steroids. That's why he's so great.
Sure. And they'll be right to an extent. Again, we're inserting the word steroids. We just mean, banned substances.
PEDs.
But, yeah,
Excuse
PEDs.
me.
But to your question, is it going to affect him? Anderson Silva just came off a suspension. He was the hero of the weekend, both with the company and with the media and with us post facto. And he just came off actual steroids. He didn't just have banned substances. He had a imprisonable Class C felony. If you were caught with it in America, they'd put you in handcuffs.
Really?
Steroid. Wow. He had the worst of the worst of the worst. Sat for 12 months, had a couple of
It's so weird how people just... I guess it's not weird. It's our nature. You forgive them, but
America's all about second and third acts. America's always been about second and third acts.
But with Jon Jones, this is what I said on yesterday's podcast was, how many times can we forgive him? I think, when he pulled out of Canada, when you pulled out of the fight, and he was like, I'm not fighting anyone else, and they canceled the card or whatever. People were like, Jesus Christ, man. And then hit and run, pregnant lady breaks her arm, blah, blah, blah. We forgive him. He came back. And then this time, there has to be a certain point, I think, where society goes, all right, man, we're done.
You know what, though? America loves redemption. And take a look at Mike Tyson. Went away for rape, bit somebody's ear off, and now he is a guy everybody... Try getting him on your show and see how in demand he is. Sure. He's so in demand. So Americans
But their careers are over.
Well, yeah, I think that it's a question of how he deals with this, how he reacts to this.
I think he has to be real.
How sorry he is.
His number, and that's always been my knock on Jon. Jon. I've trained with Jon. He should just accept being the heel, being the dark knight, being the dark joker.
Right.
Fuck everyone. This is me. I party all night. I'll come into the gym. I'll beat everybody up in here. I did a two-week camp for Ryan Bader. Beat the shit out of him. Easiest payday I've ever had. What's up?
Well, Chael,
I'm the best of all time. Do something.
You said,
instead of I see him on ESPN and he's in a blazer and some khakis. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this?
Right.
And he looked like a social study teacher in 8th grade. I'm like, what is he doing?
Right.
What the hell is this?
Because you said before all this, and I don't know that he was doing... He certainly wasn't nearly as muscular as he is now. And you said that when you fought him, he was so strong, you wanted out of there in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And you watched him, and you didn't even see him train once. My question is, when he was that successful, doing kind of not training nearly as much, not lifting a lot, coming in there and just destroying dudes, why decide now that you're going to start, getting on banned substances to get that edge? It's almost like he didn't need that edge.
Well, that's where the question comes.
Was he always on?
Right. People will go, you were so good, you didn't need that stuff. And then the smart people will go, oh, you were so good because you were on that stuff. That's where the balance comes in. But ultimately, people, they will forgive and forget. He's just in a tough spot. He's never forgiven anybody. He's the first to bury people. People talk about rock bottom for Jon, man. We're not there yet. The stuff that goes on,
not even close.
Hasn't been caught for.
Yeah, we're not even close.
Yeah, man, we're not even getting
rock bottom.
Right.
Yeah, we're at the tip of the iceberg right now.
You know what I love?
There's a bomb that goes goo-doo.
I love with you guys because you're in the game. You know him. You know the stories, and I love how you're kind of all both sort of talking around the subject.
It's guy code. You can't. You know,
of course. I respect it.
But Chael, you're the only guy, probably in the world, because you were a superstar, man, and then boom, suspended, off Fox. All that's gone.
Yeah.
You're the best analyst in the game. All that's gone. No fights. So you know what Jon's going through. What a sane person right now. I think Jon is. I'm assuming he's like, holy shit, I messed up. I have to change.
Let me call Chael. Chael, help me.
You would think, look, he can't get there. He wants to cling to whatever this fake idea of himself is. And this isn't even meant to be on a knock on Johnson. It's just try to be a reality in this situation. To what you just said a minute ago, Brendan, look, he's facing 2 years. There's no way around it. He can have all the excuses and they can believe him. He's got to sit for 2 years if he took banned substances under the new rules in Nevada. It would serve him. The truth is always on your side, and it would serve him to come out and say, I did this and this, the timing was down, bad advice, whatever, but just tell the truth. Doing I took addiction. He's on Google finding out where this stuff's at, and then reworking his story. It's like, Jon, stop, just stop. Because this isn't the last time you stub your toe. That's what we said on the last one, the one before that, the one before. It's not. You haven't even been jammed up in the stuff you really don't want to be jammed up in yet. It's not the last time you're going to stub your toe. So he's sitting 2 years either way. Come out and be real with people. He's trying to make himself the victim. It's like, Jon, this is disgusting. You are the toughest dude in the world.
Yeah.
Physically. You can't say the truth? I mean, come on. That takes a limited amount of courage compared to some of the other stuff
is there any way to appeal this 2-year ban?
No.
None.
No, not with those tests. It's 2 years, B. He's fucked.
That's it.
Do you think he comes back and everything's all good and he's pound for pound the greatest and this story goes on? Then obviously he'll have his hiccups.
Yes.
Or is it you do?
Yeah, I think that's
because he's missing the 2 glory years for sure.
For sure.
29, 30 years old. Yeah. He's in his prime.
Mm-hmm. And you asked a minute, is there any way around it? There is. Tim Means and Yoel saw it where if they can prove tainted supplement, they will forgive you a little bit. Now, there's a lot that goes into that. You not only have to provide your supplement that you have, but you could have doctored that at home. They will go to the store. They'll buy everything off the shelf. They'll run it through their labs. It's expensive. But if they can prove, hey, that's a tainted supplement, intent does matter to these guys. The supplement company in question, and Jon named him at the press conference, came out instantly.
That's where he messed up.
This isn't us. And if you want to go head-to-head, we will prove this isn't us. So that one's off the board. So now he's got to come back to, well, look, I took this dick drink, and I didn't know. Fair enough, you still took it, and there's 2 banned substances.
See,
so
that's where he messed up. When you said him doing that press conference is unheard of, when you get with a lawyer, they're going to say, don't list a name of the company. Let us do our research. We'll come up with a brand or a supplement that these do have in it, and then we'll attack them. But for you to come out and say a brand, well, all right, that's off the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the game plan there is a bad idea.
Right. And again, he didn't bring up this erection thing at the press conference. No, he's not under oath there. This is why you don't want to. I hate to bury him for anything he said there because I appreciate that he was even there. But the bottom line is this is why you shut your mouth. This is why you have the right to remain silent. He was very clear to say, I have not taken anything new that I haven't taken my entire career. As soon as he cracked that egg, he realized what he had done. He quickly tried to run it back. Goes, oh, well, I do have a new supplement company. I've taken a few of their things. And people are like, well, what? A few of their things. And he tried to leave it at that. But if he would have brought up right then, actually, I party all night long. I'm still doing the coke. Haven't popped for that again. Thank you very much. And then my penis doesn't work, so I took a shot of this, and it looks like now I'm jammed up. Okay. Then
why weren't you there doing the talking?
Then we're on board. Then we're on board.
Then we're on board. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, shit happens. Okay. All right, you're still the best in the world.
That's right.